Thank you, Jeff. My name is Tawana Fields Mpande, and I am consultant at the Hawaii Department of Education. For the next 5 minutes, we will preview what your experience will look like as you go through the planning process and start to make entries. So let's take a moment to walk through a simplified example for a hypothetical career technical planning district by looking at question 1. On the Comprehensive Local Needs Assessment Worksheet, Part B1, Size, Scope, and Quality. Question 1 asks, how many CTE pathway programs are being offered within the Career Technical Planning District? Is the district offering the required number of pathways for the size of the district? If not, how is the district going to meet the requirements? So, if we look at the current status box to the right of that question, colored here in peach for easy reference, we would state the current number of pathways and programs. In this case of a hypothetical, let's say we are a CTPD of 1,800 students currently offering 10 pathways and 8 career fields. As you know, for CTPDs of less than 2,250 students in grades 7 through 12, the state standard for size and scope is 10 pathways and 8 career fields. So, we're going to write text like what is in the peach-colored box. The CTPD has 1,800 students and offers 10 pathways across 8 career field areas, meeting the size and scope standard for districts of less than 2,250 students, and copy it into the applicable cell on the worksheet. Now, because this CTPD has a stakeholder group that includes its local economic development agency, it knows that XYZ Incorporated has committed to building a plant at a nearby site and will be opening in 3 years and adding 200 jobs, and it wants local residents to qualify for the new jobs in blue widget fabrication. Through the assessment of labor market demand done in tab B2, we know these are high-skilled jobs and there are very few people locally qualified to make blue widgets. Thus, there will be a gap in workforce skills that we want to fill, so we want to consider starting a blue widget fabrication pathway in the next school year, while keeping our other needed pathways and career fields. So, we have a goal of expanding to add another pathway, blue widget fabrication. In this case, we would type text similar to that in the lilac box. The CTPD will offer blue widget fabrication pathway to expand to offer 11 pathways in 8 career fields by September 1st, 2021. And copy it into the appropriate worksheet cell. So, we have a current status and a goal of expansion, and we need strategies to bridge the gap and make it happen. So let's do that by adding, in this case, a strategy to meet that goal. And we would type text similar to that in the yellow box. The CTPD will design curriculum and submit a CTE 26 to create a pathway for blue widget fabrication by March 30th, 2021, and put it in the appropriate cell in the worksheet. There may be another strategy as well, so let's add CTPD will create a blue widget lab by 2023. Now, there are 2 strategies to meet that goal. There may be others once the plant is operational. You may want to have on-site tours for student exploring career options. You may want to have Blue Widget Company HR department do presentations for students, and so on. So your local stakeholders and leadership team would ultimately want to include and consider for funding the best strategies to meet that goal. It makes sense to number your goals and have corresponding numbers for the strategies attached to each goal. In this case, I listed the goal as Goal 1 and the strategy attached to that goal as Strategy 1A. And we have the second strategy of creating a lab. So let's number that as 1B. If I had 2 goals for that question, my second goal would be goal number 2. And strategies attached to that goal would be 2A and 2B. Do not add more than 2 goals per question. And we will continue with this process to fill every cell on the worksheet, answering the question. I'm going to verbally summarize the next two questions in the worksheet. Question 2. What are the barriers to enrollment? Question 3. Through evaluation of CT programs with quality program standards, which programs are rated minimal or below? And so on down the worksheet. Finally, you will summarize your priorities, discussing the information that was critical in coming to those priorities. This summary of priorities will ultimately be copied from this portion of the needs assessment straight into the local application. Since we are in tab B1, I'm going to bookmark this text summary as B1, and we'll come back to it later. We want to take a moment to talk about formatting your worksheet entries here. We suggest that you might want to organize and first type your response in a Word document, since you cannot format the text within an Excel. For instance, if you hit Enter to create a paragraph while typing in Excel, it will close the cell and move your cursor down to the next row. So, you might want to use the Word document, then copy and paste your response in the correct cell of the worksheet. Please know that when you copy into Excel, you will lose most formatting. Also, you cannot create a table within the Excel cell, but you can create a table in a Word document, then copy it into a cell in the workbook. You will lose the line format, but the rows and the columns will still be ordered. We believe the input process will go more smoothly if you're copying and pasting from a Word document rather than trying to enter most data directly into the worksheet. Here is an example of a table created in Word. Note the bolded text and the shaded cells in the centered justification. When we take that and copy it into the workbook, this is what you see. You see the formatting is gone and it is not perfect, but it is how you can get tabled information into a single spreadsheet cell. Going back to our example, we suggest using the SMART approach to writing goals because we want every local application to be approved on the first submission. So let's go over the SMART acronym looking at our example. S, our goal must be specific. Okay, we want to add a blue widget fabricator pathway. That's pretty specific, right? M, it must be measurable. So let's talk about the fact that we want to add one pathway. A, it must be attainable. And R, realistic. We believe both can be true. It is within our capacity to develop a pathway. We have resources to do so. And T, we must articulate a time frame, in this case by September 1st, 2021, to put it in effect for the school year. So, if we look at that goal, we see that it is articulated in the SMART goal format and meets a labor market need for high-skilled employees demonstrated in the needs assessment. This is an example of a goal aligned to a clear need that the department would most likely approve. We briefly looked at the stakeholder page, the evaluation of student performance tab, and then drilled down a little bit into the size, scope, and quality tab of the workbook to provide an example. The rest of the tabs are quite similar in concept and approach, and you will go through each as led by the guidebook, so the local needs assessment is completed when the 7 worksheets have been completed, adding labor market alignment, programs of study, CT educators, and equitable access. Next, to talk about the local application itself is Michelle Ward.